All right. So, one of the reasons that we talk about segregation and the Jim Crow laws that are going on is one of the reasons they're going to pick up and leave, but also the anti-immigration laws that were put in place against Asians and others. And therefore, some of the factories and some of these things that the industries up in the north needed more workers. And so you're going to see an influx not only of whites, but African Americans mostly going up in search of work and job opportunities up north. So we get that, segregation, job, and that of course leads to what's called an internal migration. And is it only limited to blacks? No, it's not. There are whites that are going to go along too. This is interesting here, down in Florida. There are people migrating into Florida instead of going up north. But mostly going up north. And you can see there from the arrows, Philadelphia, Baltimore, the cities, right? New York, St. Louis, Chicago. This is the most profound states to get some of this were Virginia and South Carolina. Now, South Carolina at one point had more slaves than it had white people in it at one point in its history. A lot of people don't know that about South Carolina. But you look at the migration, I talk about this migration that takes place right after the Civil War from 1870 to 1880. There were more people leaving from the 1870s, 1880s, 1890s. It was always the blacks who were leaving mostly. There were still whites leaving, but mostly blacks, right? And there were obvious reasons for that. The big one, of course, is the one we're studying from 1919 to 1930. And where are they going mostly? Again, up north, but the most profound, and when we define the black migration, the most profound area that it takes place in is, of course, Harlem. Right? See the Harlem Renaissance. And look at Harlem in 1911. It was about 10 blocks, maybe. That's all. By 1930, there's going to be over 100 blocks of territory where the new area of, it's going to be a black area of New York that's going to be predominantly black, right? And we're going to see a flourishing of the arts here. And I'm not going to go, because I don't have a lot of time, over the individuals who flourished here, but I do want to go over some of them who made an important impact, right? A Jamaican immigrant who is Marcus Garvey, sorry. His protest gives rise to a new sort of African nationalism. He also develops a country, and I'm going to skip some of this, the Black Star Company, I said company, that will give Africans a trip back to Africa, right? And he's sort of a segregationist, right, in the African sense. He's sort of following along the line later on, Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X and those others. He is going to be criticized by some for doing this. Some say, well, this is stopping or slowing down economic and civil rights of the African American community in America. So he will be criticized, and eventually, this is the guy who's criticizing him. Dr. Du Bois, right. Oops, did I go back? Now he's once of a more, he's sort of like the Martin Luther King of his era. He's the first Martin Luther King, if you will, of that era. He thinks that he has an organization or a concept that he comes up with. It's called the 1/10 organization or 1/10 concept, and in that, yeah, out of every 10 African Americans, he thinks that one could be a leader of the community and lead the community to the next generation. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about them. I don't have a lot of time, but there are others like Josephine Baker, who's probably the most famous of them. She makes a living as a dancer in Harlem, and the African style themes that she has is the way that she expresses herself and her Africanity, if you will. And she takes that to Europe later on, becomes one of the most famous dancers in Paris. And I just have, really quickly, do I have time to show the video?
Yeah, we have time for it.
Can I, please? What is that? Oh, by the way, this is a little pornographic for some of you, so
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. See, look, it's not even on YouTube. That's how pornographic it is. There she is in the cage. It epitomizes 1920s jazz and she has a beautiful
La plus belle cage n'est qu'une prison.
Since we're running out of time, I won't go over it, but you guys get the idea, right? You get the idea of that. And I mean, just the intellectualism of her to learning French and coming part of that culture. Life is a learning process, and for her it was. And of course, Hemingway calls her the most sensational woman anywhere he's ever seen. So that's how sensational she is. Zora Hertzen is probably one of the most famous novelists, also writer.
No, the.
D? You think so, D? Okay. In history, we don't like infinitives, so we'll say one of the most. I think one of her most profound books is, for me, the one that was published 80 years after it was first introduced, right? She couldn't get a publisher for it, and this is, of course, The Last Black Cargo. And it's about the last African who was brought here from Africa and sold as a slave. It's a really good book, those of you who don't have, you want to read anything, there you go, there's your summer reading right there. And I'm not going to read the poems to you, so I won't. But some of the poems, right? Some of these, and this reminded me of the poem that was read earlier, right? This guy doesn't get to sit at the table, yet he's an American, right? And again, we don't have time because I see the panelists looking at me all weird, so I have to finish. And again, it's because it's the era of jazz and stuff like that, but do you want me to talk about what immigration you said? You want me to talk about religious immigration?
Oh, well, yeah, the religious oppression. Oh, maybe during the Q&A.
Okay, we'll talk about that in the Q&A. But yeah, this period within the migration, the Great Migration, and again, this didn't just happen in New York, right? New Orleans was part of this, although that's sort of, New Orleans is sort of a different city. St. Louis is it's sort of like a northern city in the South. If anybody been to New Orleans, it's one of those cities, you get that feeling when you go there. It's a northern city stuck in the South. In St. Louis, this happened in St. Louis. Chicago also had a flourishing of black culture. But, Harlem, of course, is the most famous one. That's the most famous one we know of. Yeah, that's all I have for you. So, thank you. Sorry, I was rushed.
No, you're fine.
Blame the panel.
Okay, so I want to take you to 100 years back, okay? Before the Harlem Renaissance that began in the early 1920s. I want to talk about a different movement. That movement is from the United States to Haiti. So I have entitled my talk, Haiti on My Mind, James Theodore Harley and African American Immigration in Haiti. In 1824, the New York Colonization Society received a commitment from the Haitian president, Jean-Pierre Boyer, who united the country of Haiti and the Dominican Republic for over 22 years. So Boyer made a promise to African Americans that if they come to Haiti, he will give them land, he will give them a place to stay. And some members, African American members of that society, the New York Colonization Society, including, for example, the businessman James Forten, and then with the great Richard Holland, who founded the AME Church. They organized what was then called the Haitian Immigration Society of Colored People. So they arranged for the transportation of African Americans to go to Haiti, also to the DR. Now, fast forward in the mid-19th century, more African Americans, relocated to Haiti. But under the Emperor Faustin Suluk, the first emperor in the Americas, and then James Theodore Hawley, I'm going to talk about Theodore Hawley in a minute. They began a conversation in 1855 about the possibility for African Americans to relocate to the United States. And of course, there were many reasons. Slavery, the United States refusal to grant American citizenship to those Africans. That was the term that was used, Africans, okay? So, there was another important figure. It was a white radical by the name of James Redpath. Now, President Nicole Geoffroy hired James Redpath as his reporter, his general agent in the United States to promote African American immigration to Haiti. And James Hawley was a good friend of Redpath, so they're going to collaborate together to carry out that mission. In fact, let me read something to you, something Hawley said. He wrote, our brethren of Haiti who stand in the vanguard of the race have already made a name and a fame for us that is as imperishable as the world's history. It becomes then an important question for the Negro in America to contribute to the continued advancement of this Negro nationality of the New World. Now, according to a Haitianist historian, that is somebody who was not of Haitian descent, Matthew Clavin, as many as 20% of all free blacks in the northern United States relocated to Haiti. In the 4 decades before the Civil War, several hundred African Americans from the South also went to Haiti. In the spring 1861, the great Frederick Douglass had planned a trip to Haiti to see the possibility for more African Americans to go there. In fact, Douglass would become the U.S. ambassador for Haiti for many years. I think he stayed there for close to 2 years. Zora in 1930s would go to Haiti and stay there for about 2 years, also to do ethnographic work in Haiti, Jamaica, and another Caribbean country. So, interestingly, for Theodore Hawley That was his dream. That was his dream. He was a religious leader, a black nationalist in the African community in the United States. He was one of the major promoters of immigration to Haiti. Holly was born in 1829 and died in Haiti in 1911. He was born in D.C., but Washington, D.C. was not a hospitable place for blacks. So his family relocated to Brooklyn, where there was a larger black presence, and Holly became a shoemaker in Brooklyn. He was ordained as a Protestant Episcopal deacon in 1855. And then in 1856, Holly became the first African American to be ordained as a priest. He was decisively committed not only to black freedom in Haiti, of course in the States as well, but to international missions in Haiti, religious activities in Haiti. In 1857, Holly gave a groundbreaking lecture, to see if he can convince African Americans to continue their journey to Haiti. So the title of his lecture is A Vindication of the Capacity of the Negro Race for Self-Government. So he defended, in that lecture, he defended the existence of the black race, the rights of black people to be existed. He argued, of course, against anti-black racism at that time. Holly, praised the Haitian revolutionary leaders, Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and he contended that revolutionary Haiti represents the capacity of blacks to govern themselves. So then it's going to focus, on the significance of the Haitian Revolution and the founding, the birth of Haiti as the first black country in the Western world. Then he's going to argue that Haiti, since its birth in 1804, progressively has shown, according to Holly, signs of progress, self-government, and political stability. Now, Holly also argued that Haiti was not just a symbol of black freedom in the world, that the Caribbean island, the Caribbean nation of Haiti, was an indispensable place for African Americans who want to be free from American slavery and then from white oppression. In 1854, the National Immigration Convention endorsed Haitian immigration in the best interest of African Americans. In 1858, in November 1858, the Convention of the Colored Men of Ohio, they met in Cincinnati, Ohio, they adopted the resolution that reaffirms the importance of Haitian independence and the importance of African Americans, for African Americans to relocate to Haiti. Now, let's fast forward a little bit. So this is very important in the story. In 1860, what happened after Haiti gained its freedom from France in 1804, the big countries like the United States, France, Germany, Canada, Spain would not recognize Haiti's, Haitian independence. For France, it was until 1825, and for United States, it's going to happen in about 1865. For France, 1825, I meant to say. For the US, 1865, 64, 65. And the Vatican is very important, which is a religious body, did not recognize Haiti as a nation. So in 1860, the Vatican recognized Haiti as a Catholic nation. President Guillaume Geoffroy would establish immigration offices not only in Haiti. He provided $20,000 for the creation of Haitian Immigration Bureau agencies in Boston, New York, New Orleans, and other U.S. cities. Now, $20,000, that was a lot of money for a country that just got started at that time. Okay? President Geoffroy made the following promises to African Americans who were willing to relocate to Haiti. He said, okay, we will pay for your travel expenses. We will provide you with temporary housing. We will provide you with land. Haitian citizenship was promised. He also argued that your life will be better in Haiti. You will have freedom. You will have freedom of religion upon your arrival. But of course, as a government, there is also, he was also seeking for the best interest of his country, with the condition that the African Americans who would be relocated to Haiti would work in the agricultural field in Haiti to help improve the Haitian agriculture. Now, going back to Holly found that very exciting because Holly is working very closely with the president, Haitian president. So, in 1859, before that, Holly wrote a series of articles, 6 major articles, that were published in the pro-immigration magazine called Anglo-African Magazine, right? To compel African Americans to come to Haiti. In May 1861, Holly took his entire family and 112 other African Americans. They left New Haven, Connecticut, on a ship for Haiti. When they arrived in Haiti, one of the African Americans says, I am a man in Haiti where I feel entirely free. Another says that no colored man in the United States can feel that way. Now, within the same year, 1861, 800 additional African Americans immigrated to Haiti. It's interesting, President Geoffroy is going to use his own estate to welcome those African Americans and his in Haiti. He would become the godfather of a little African boy who was born on the voyage. And now, in 1863, this is very important, President Lincoln, whom we dearly cherish, believed that in order for this country to solve the race problem, we have to force them out of the country. And the country that was available, of course, was Haiti. So President Lincoln supported the transportation of 453 African Americans from Virginia to the island of Haiti. Now, when Harley settled in Haiti, and as a minister, he would establish the first Holy Trinity Church in Port-au-Prince. In fact, Haitian Episcopalian denomination was founded by Harley. It's not a white institution. This is, as we say in Haitian Creole, this is Lakai. It's indigenous, right? So, now, I'm going to fast forward. It looks like I have 3 minutes left, right? Okay, all right. Let me try to finish. So, in 1874, under the administration of President Michel Domingue of Haiti, Reverend James Theodore Harley was consecrated as the first African American Episcopal Bishop of Haiti. He would spend his next 50 years in Haiti. He died in Haiti. His 4 sons, were born in Haiti. 3 of them were medical doctors, 1 a musician. In Haiti, Harley established 15 churches, 7 missions, 15 national clergy, a church community over 2,000 people. He also established agricultural schools in Haiti. So let me stop for now, then we can take questions, in the Q&A.
All right, let's give our panelists a hand. I think now we can open it up for discussions because time has gone past. So I have some questions that I've pre-selected, but do we have anyone in the audience who would like to ask either myself or anyone on the panel any questions? Yes.
I'd just like to know if we can look forward to bringing these men and perhaps others and the story of black migration to the Lincoln Park community so we can learn, because I learned a lot today. Some stuff I had a gist of, but I learned a lot more. And I want to come to your class.
Thank you. That's right. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. I say yes. We can do that and make that happen very soon. Yeah. That would be awesome. And I'm sure these gentlemen are ready. They have more to share. So we definitely need to make sure we have an opportunity for them to share that. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I really enjoyed the information that I received today from all 3 of the panelists. I learned so much about history. I don't know a lot about black history, which, I beat myself up about all the time because I haven't taken the time to learn. But I'd rather hear somebody talk than me to read about it. So I enjoyed, just hearing the, just personal experiences of what you guys experienced, even coming here and transitioning here, and just the, rich history about, what happened in the past. So it was really good. So thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I would, because even though they have so much information, I would like for them to take 2 minutes to share, each of you, to share a little bit about your own personal migration to the United States, because I don't know if the audience knows your own personal migration stories. So if you can tell us a little bit about where you came from and your experiences of coming to the United States and how did that work out? Well, we know it worked out well because you're here, but aside from that. You want to begin?
Yeah, yours is more interesting than mine. So let's save the best for last. Like I said before, my family, my dad's family's from Iran. They got ethnically cleansed, so there's a double migration there. They got ethnically cleansed from Iran because they're Sunni, and of course Iranians are Shia. So they got ethnically cleansed from Iran. They ended up in the Palestinian territory. It was called Palestine in 1800, and then it turned into Israel after 1948. So his family's been there for a while, and that's where he met my mom. And they were, in the 1970s, nobody cared about your religion, but these people were, socialists, and they didn't care back then. So he's Muslim, and my mom's comes from a different religious background, and they met each other, and they got married. And shortly after they met, the Lebanese War broke out, and that's when Israel invaded Lebanon to try to prevent the PLO from attacking. And so they came to the United States. I was born over there. I was born in Jerusalem, yes, so I did have at one point dual citizenship, Israeli, because Palestinians who are born in the Jerusalem area are considered part of Israel, and Israel incorporated Jerusalem officially. If you're born in the West Bank, then you're considered second-class citizens, almost like here. So there's a segregationism to it. So, for example, when I last visited there are separate highways for Palestinians. There are also tags, so your car, you get a white tag instead of an Israeli tag, which is the yellow tag. And you're stopped at checkpoints, different checkpoints. And it's really, it's difficult when you're going from one area. It's only about 7 miles from where my mom lives to Jerusalem. And it takes you about 4 hours to get there because you got to stop at different checkpoints. And at certain points they'll strip search you and stuff like that. I've never been strip searched, but I've seen people humiliated in front of their children. It's just an awful experience. And I understand why my parents came here. They gave me a better future here. My dad anglicized my name. If you're wondering where Shelby comes from, my last name is actually Shalabi, and my first name is Iskandar. Iskandar, Alexander the Great, is of course very famous throughout the Middle East. There's Alexandria, Egypt, Alexandretta in Turkey, and of course Iskandaran, or what's called Kandahar in Afghanistan, in Urdu. So we ended up here, and of course here, growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, we went to war with Iraq, and that's when I started to really feel the prejudice. And that's what you said about, each group, migrant group, has this sort of stigma attached to it. And that's when I was called, sand nigger or whatever, other names, among other names. But, raghead is another one. What was the other one they called me? Alibaba, which was one that later comes in later on, 2003. And Alibabas were people basically like, the 40 thieves, basically, on a thief. And so, yeah, that's my story. I ended up going to, I went to college in New Orleans, that's why I said New Orleans. It's sort of a different city. When we moved to New Orleans, I didn't get, like growing up in the South, I grew up here in Florida and Orlando area. In New Orleans, I didn't get a lot of that. I got accepted in New Orleans, and I like New Orleans. I love New Orleans, and I love the culture there. And it's such a vibrant culture, and it's a Creole as well as an African American, as well as a European style culture. It is an international city stuck in the South, basically. So growing up there, I was when I was in college. I shouldn't say growing up. I started my undergraduate studies there, and then I got my MA at University of New Orleans, and then I transferred to FSU for my PhD.